Welcome to The Last Word, brought to you by Montgomery Bank. I'm David Jenkins. He's Chris Popst. And big week in football this week. We have district championships.
Yep.
Kind of been building up to it, all season, obviously. But, it seems like it's really been a fast season.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like it's just, these district championships have just snuck up on us, and they're here now. We've got some really good matchups this week. Not a lot of surprises last week. I think Kennett's probably the Cinderella story of around here, but I think everybody else, is kind of what we expected.
You got every number one seed is in the district championship like we expected. Got a few maybe upsets brewing in this championship week, and a lot of one-sided contests, I think, and a lot of other, and most of them anyway. But the one that we have Jackson Vine, who's kind of a intriguing matchup going into this week for a lot of reasons. Cape Central is favored, I would think. Malden is heavily favored. A lot think that Kennett's magical run kind of ends this week, but we'll try to break down a few of those games and kind of explain to you why we think they go that way. And we'll start off with Jinx. Let's start off with Malden Caruthersville, kind of our local matchup. Malden, the overwhelming favorite, I would assume, in this one.
Yeah, they're like we talk about every week. They're trying to put up they're trying to get the state record for points in a season. They have 693. The state record's 764. So it looks like they're going to get there if they continue this pace. They're averaging 63 points a game, which is just unheard of, and
literally unheard of. It has never happened.
Right, because the state record's 56.
Yeah.
So if they continue on this pace, they're going to set all kinds of records. And I don't think they have just a 50, 60 point week this week. I really don't. I think Caruthersville can contain them a little bit. I think Malden wins, but I don't think they turbo clock Caruthersville. I think Caruthersville stays with them for a while.
I think Malden handsomely gets a victory. I don't see anything. The first time I saw them was last week, and I didn't see anything to me that would say that anything would slow them down as far as the teams around here goes. I don't now 56-0. Another 40 point win over Caruthersville like they did earlier this season. Maybe. I don't. I think Caruthersville maybe scores a few times this time, but I don't think the decision will never be in question.
Right. I don't think it's going to be one that goes down the wire. I think Malden will win easily, but I don't think they turbo clock them.
Yeah.
I think Caruthersville keeps it within 35, and they don't get turbo clocked. And I don't think Malden gets 50 points. I really don't. I think Caruthersville. Well, I think Caruthersville will try to control the clock, and if they can get that, then Malden won't have the possessions to mount the points that they need. I think it'll be something like 49-14.
Has it really come down to the fact that Malden is just that much better that we're actually arguing about what the point spread is going to be?
Yeah, 42-14. That's the score I'm going to go with. 42-14.
That sounds good to me. It's a comfortable win. I don't know if Caruthersville scores twice, but
they're just better,
yeah.
And I think that they're just better. They're having a great season, and they I know that their coach earlier this year was wanting some respect and everything. I think they've gotten it. I think they're definitely known as one of the top teams in the area. They're the top team in Class 2 by far. And I think Caruthersville. I think it's a win for Caruthersville if they can keep it close. But I think Malden has too much, and I think they win.
Yeah, and the arguments of Caruthersville's side as well. That was week 2 when they lost to Malden, at least 40-0, I believe.
Yeah,
47-0. And they got much better, and they have. You got to credit them. They came into the season with a very unorthodox way to approach a season, with the coach leaving just right before the start of the season. Coaching turnovers and just trying to get acclimated into the season. Of course, Coach Jimmy Jackson, he's definitely used to that situation, but being a head coach is totally different. And you got to commend them for the way that they've the way they started the season was not looking good. They've turned it on and pretty much beaten everyone they should beat by the score that they should have beaten them by. So it's been a good season for Caruthersville. Unfortunately, I think it ends
right.
against Malden.
They are improved.
Yeah.
I think they definitely are improved. I think the biggest problem is they just don't have the talent that Malden has, and you can't.
Malden has improved as well.
Right. Malden's gotten better. Obviously, we've seen that. I just think that Malden. That's why I think Caruthersville will keep it closer than they did the first time. They just don't have the horses to win. I don't think.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to the darling of the district tournaments in Kennett, and they run up against the number 1 seed Park Hill Central Rebels. Jinx. The run. Unfortunately for Kennett, the run is over.
Clock strikes midnight on Cinderella.
Yeah.
But they're going to play Park Hills closer than I think some think.
I agree.
Park Hills. I think Park Hills is going to win it on the line, and I think their ability to not allow Wilson to, Kennett's quarterback, to get the edge, it's going to be the difference in the game. However, he has just been their savior this year, and now I got to get these numbers. He's in 6 games as a quarterback. He's rushed for over 1,300 yards and 21 touchdowns, and he's thrown for 400 too. So hey,
yeah, not a one-trick pony.
Right. So he can throw it a little bit also, but he's going to have to really throw it this week, I think, for them to even have a chance to win. Mm-hmm. And I don't think he's a good enough passer to do that. I don't think they have the weapons at the receiver position. I think Park Hill Central wins the game, but I think Kennett is going to keep it close for a while. Mm-hmm. But I think before it's all said and done, Park Hill Central, they're just big and strong, and they'll just wear them down.
The last state rankings that were available, Park Hill Central was number 3 in Class 3.
And there's a reason they're number 3.
Exactly. I didn't rank them as high just because I don't know. But anyway, Park Hills is definitely a stout team up front, like you said. Kennett, I think Wilson gets his numbers. I think he does the most damage, obviously, like he's done the last 6 weeks. But like you said, I found it very intriguing that a lot of people are picking Park Hill Central just to win huge, just obliterate Kennett. I don't think so. I think Wilson gets out and has a big game again. Big game in the eyes of playing against a state-ranked team. I don't think he's a huge difference that's going to put him over the top or anything, but he's going to keep it closer than a lot of people think.
I'll tell you something that's going to help Kennett is they're playing on the turf up there at Park Hills. They just had the new turf put in, and it's going to make him even faster. Yeah. So, but Park Hills has some speed themselves. Yeah. But the problem is, I think the defensive line of Park Hills. I think they're going to control, and they're going to keep him from getting to the edge. Mm-hmm. And really, there's no other weapons besides Wilson. I think they're going to be able to game plan for him, and you're going to have more than just him to beat Park Hills. I just don't think they have it.
Yeah, I wish we had a button for this next matchup because I'd push it for the upset alert. I wish we did have that. We got Vianney traveling down to Jackson. Jackson's number 1 seed, has beat them once before. Mm-hmm. But Jinx, they come in with a lot of injuries. Didn't look sharp last week against Oakville, a team that a lot of people thought that they probably should have won a little bit more comfortable. Mm-hmm. Went down to overtime, had to have a fumble, ended it.
Right.
It wasn't a great way. It was a win. It was a win, but it wasn't the way that a lot of people thought it should have went. And then they go into this game against Vianney, who's just kind of exploded over the last half of the season. A lot of young talent, a lot of experienced talent to go along with that. Jinx, want to tell a little bit about Vianney?
Well, they've won 6 of the last 7, and they have 2 D1 kids at their defensive end, so they're kind of anchored by 2 D1 kids, 6'5", 235. Mm-hmm. And then you go, they have a wide receiver that's a D1 talent, but the thing for them is their freshman quarterback, who the first time they played, Jackson beat them 30-23, but he didn't play at quarterback a whole lot. I mean, they had another kid named Van Dieven, I think, or Voorhees playing quarterback. And, he didn't play much. Well, now he's their starter. And since he's been the starter, he's passed for over 1,100 yards. He's rushed for over 1,100 yards, counted for 25 touchdowns. The exact same type of player that gave them trouble last week with Oakville. I think Vianney wins this game. And I think, I've heard 7 starters out for Jackson. I know their top 2 running backs are out. It's going to be tough. Mm-hmm. Dante Van Dieven is going to have to take over this game and be the player that everybody has talked about all year long. But I still don't think they have enough. I think Vianney wins this game.
And Van Dieven's a type of player that could do that. No question. Mm-hmm. He's one that then can put them over the top. But I mean, top 2 running backs out. Another 5 guys injured, starters injured. It's a tough hill to climb, and you're facing a team that's obviously has a lot of talent. It takes more than Van Dieven. He's got to have all those other guys, but he has other weapons. But at the same time, might be just a little bit too much to overcome.
And last week, I read some comments from the coach, and he said, he kind of turned down the, Van Dieven didn't really want to run him as much as he ran him there late. Mm-hmm. Well, he's going to have to run a lot this week, and he's going to be getting hit by 6'5", 235, and that's don't always recover from that. You can't just keep getting up. I think
it's just Vianney, a recipe for an upset, right?
Right. I think Vianney. Like I said, they won 6 of the last 7, and they played some tough competition up there. They're playing well. This quarterback just keeps getting better and better, and he's super quick. And with Jackson with all their injuries, I just think Vianney wins this game.
Yeah, they defeated Chaminade by a couple touchdowns. Who beat Cape Central? Who beat Jackson? Earlier in the year. They smashed Farmington. They've had a lot of impressive wins over the last 5 or 6 weeks, and like I said, it's just a recipe for an upset.
The thing going in Jackson's favor is they're playing in the pit.
They are playing at home.
They're playing in the pit, and it's always tough to win there, no matter what you bring in. They pipe in that music before the game, and it's loud, and it's going to be loud the entire game. But I just think Vianney. Last year Jackson lost the regular season game, went up and beat Vianney to win the district title. I think if the things are reversed this year, I think Vianney wins it.
Yeah, I'm with you in there. I got Vianney in this one. And last but not least, we've got Hillsborough traveling down to Cape Central. I don't think Cape Central has too much of a problem. Hillsborough is a very, very good team, but Cape Central, they pretty much show that they're on the right path right now. They seem to be picked up a little bit more than where they were, early in the season.
I think Hillsborough is going to give them a game. I think it's going to go. I think it's going to be a lot of points scored. I think Hillsborough plays them tough, but I think Cape, has too much at the end, too many athletes at the end. But I'll tell you what, Hillsborough, they played a tough schedule, and they've done well at that schedule. They lost to Festus, and they lost to St. Louis University High, which is a very good team up in St. Louis. And that's it. And they play teams with athletes. They know how to play them, but they just don't. I don't think they defend well enough. They gave up 41 points to Poplar Bluff. I don't think they can control Kennett or Cape Central. I think Cape Central wins in a shootout.
Yeah, I think Cape Central, what they've shown me the last few weeks is, although they do have the likes of Al Young, they don't really need him to be that just outstanding world beater of a player. They have other options that they can go to and win just the same. They got that Brown Owens. They got, of course, Peyton Montgomery kind of gets folded in the mix because he's kind of behind a lot of those guys in talent, but he's one of our better quarterbacks around. He can control a game. He knows.
They don't have to do much.
Exactly.
He has the ability to throw the football and get it to but they don't have to because every time I've seen him twice and I've seen him play Sykes and they've just pounded them and that ain't been close. They haven't really needed it. And you could put in me or you could be quarterback back there and hand the ball off and be fine.
I don't know. I'd probably find a way to screw it.
I think Hillsborough rushes for over about 325 yards a game. They're big up front. I think a lot bigger up front than Sykes, and I think they're going to cause some Cape Central some problems and be able to run the ball a little bit.
That's been the biggest chink in I think Jackson and Cape Central. Just the defense just isn't there. They can score points, but Jackson, maybe bend don't break a little bit more in their situation, but Cape just they want to outscore you rather than stop you.
Right.
I think, and they definitely are capable of doing that. And that was their run last year. That's how they did it last year. They outscored teams.
And if I'm not mistaken, Cape is without one of their defensive linemen. I think he was had 2 personal foul penalties last week and is not able to play this week.
I heard that. I'm not for sure.
Right. I'm not 100%, but I think that's how it works. I know he was ejected from the game. I think he has to miss this week. That's going to be a big. Yeah. That's a big thing whenever you're against a team that runs the ball the way they do. I mean, they've only thrown 46 passes all year.
Yeah.
And when they do pass, they get yards. 556 yards, only 23 completions.
that's production.
So whenever they want to pass, they're going to pass and they're going to surprise you with it and get some big yards out of it. But I just think Cape Central has too many athletes, too much and they win a shootout.
Yeah, we have a lot of aspects this week of district championship. We got a possible upset. Got some ones that's probably not going to go that way, but it's going to be a great district championship night. Weather should cooperate as far as I know.
It's going to be cold, though. As far as I know.
Cold. Suck it up, James.
I hate cold. It's basketball season.
It is basketball season.
Once you have to put on the big coat, it's time to go inside and play some basketball.
Started Monday. This guy's excited. That guy's excited.
Extremely.
We're ready for some basketball. We love talking some hoops. We're getting ready for that. We'll gear up for our basketball preview not too long from here. So
football is great until it gets cold, and once it gets cold, I'm ready to move inside, play some basketball. We'll worry about football season next year.
I'm fluffy. I can take it.
I'm not, and I get very cold very fast, and I don't like it at all.
Well, the Abominable Snowman will sign us off here. We'll see you guys next week, and thanks for tuning in to The Last Word.